Hey, what's up, guys? So, obviously, yesterday was absolutely insane as we all witnessed the literal assassination attempt of a former president of the United States. Absolutely insane. But I want to bring you guys some updates because there's just so much going on. The news media, for what I've seen, is kind of all over the place. There's a lot of misinformation all over social media. It's just kind of hard to find a place that gives you the real, actual, verified updates. So, I want to do that in today's video. So, number one, there are a lot of pictures going around of the alleged shooter. His name is Thomas Matthew Crooks. Um, a lot of those pictures are fake. There's actually some troll, I guess, some popular guy who likes to troll or whatever, who I guess kind of looks like the shooter. And I guess he's posting pictures and pretending to be the shooter. God knows why you would do that, but apparently that's what's happening. Anyway, these are the real pictures of the shooter. This is actually verified by reputable news sources. To the left is a picture of him in high school. To the right is a picture of him when he was younger. That picture on the left actually comes from a graduation video from the high school that he went to. This is the actual guy right here. And then down there, that picture in the middle is also him as well. So I just want to make sure everybody understands. These three pictures are the real pictures of the actual shooter, not all this other weird stuff going around on the internet. Let me go ahead and move on to the next article, because there's just so much that happened. We now have a new update from the Wall Street Journal. We actually have two major updates, but one of the main updates that I've seen is Thomas Matthew Crooks, who authorities say tried to assassinate President Donald Trump, apparently used a gun that was purchased by his father. So we are now getting information that the actual gun that was used to try and assassinate a former president of the United States was purchased by his father. Obviously, for those of you who don't know, if it turns out that this is true, I mean, the Wall Street Journal is reporting this, so it very likely is true. But if it turns out that this guy basically took his father's gun and he used his father's gun for the shooting, unfortunately, I'm sure you guys know this, the father will be blamed. The father will probably be held accountable, and the father probably will be prosecuted as well. That is probably what will happen if they determine that the father purchased the gun that the shooter used. I don't know the specific dynamics of how that's going to go, but that's just my speculation there. And then we have another new update, courtesy of Caitlin Collins from CNN. The shooter from former President Trump's rally on Saturday had explosive material found not only inside of his car, but also in his residence. So obviously the FBI and whatever other organizations have been able to go into the shooter's house as well as the car. They located the car, which apparently the car was not too far from where the shooter actually was. And this whole thing makes no sense how the shooter was able to get that close, but we'll get more in that later. But yeah, so this was a full-on assassination attempt. Not only did the shooter use a rifle to shoot at the former president of the United States, the shooter obviously had a plan B and probably even a plan C, which is why he had explosive material in his car as well as his house. Again, I'm not sure if the son and the dad lived together. The fact that it's suspected that he got the gun tells me that he probably lived with his dad. One of the things that would be very interesting to me, we would need more information on the dad. How in God's name did this guy have explosive devices in the house and you didn't know about this? How in God's name did he get access to your gun in order to commit this? I mean, there's a lot of unanswered questions here. Absolutely crazy stuff. And then we move on to the next update. Let me go ahead and pause this. We're going to play it. So obviously when situations like this happen, people always need somebody to blame. People need somewhere to focus their anger. And this is one of the people who are upset at the fact that Trump, got shot at, justifiably, by the way. I agree. They're very angry at news anchor Joy Ann Reid, who is actually the news anchor for popular news network MSNBC. I'm going to go ahead and play the video. This is what she said, I guess, this past week about Donald Trump. And here's that.
Then let me know who I got to vote for to keep Hitler out the White House. That's it. I'm done. Oh, and by the way, if it's Biden in a coma, I'm going to vote for Biden in a coma. I don't even really particularly like the guy. A lot of his policies, don't like him. He's not Donald Trump, right? Yeah. Hitler, White House. We keeping him out. Keeping Project 2025 out. That's all I care about. Up and down the ballot from the rooted to then.
Okay, so this is what Joy Ann Reid said. Obviously, this is unbelievably stupid. It's crazy that a person who's a news anchor on a major network and speaks publicly to people on television every single day is able to just say something so stupid and so crazy, and she's just dumb. I mean, first of all, she's calling Trump Hitler. That's unbelievably stupid. If you actually go read about what Hitler really did and what happened in that whole history that took place during World War II, Trump is nothing like Hitler. They need to stop saying that. It's just not true. It's stupid. Yes, you may not agree with Trump's policies. You may believe that Trump is dangerous. You may not agree with his politics, whatever. He's nothing like Hitler. That's ridiculous. The other thing she said that was really stupid was she said she would rather vote for Biden in a coma than Donald Trump. So you would rather vote for a president in a coma. Obviously, Biden's not in a coma, but she's saying hypothetically, if President Biden were to go into a coma, she would still vote for that guy. The guy that literally can't legislate, can't veto bills, can't sign off on bills, can't speak to the country, literally just in bed rest in a hospital because he's in a coma. She's saying she would rather vote for that person than Donald Trump. That's just idiotic. That's stupid. People like this deserve all of the heat that they're getting. By the way, she is getting a lot of heat. As a matter of fact, she's gotten so much heat, she actually privated her Twitter account. Her Twitter account is privated. So you cannot see her tweets or engage with her or message her or anything unless you follow her and she accepts your follow request. She privated her Twitter account, which I think is cowardly. I think you're a coward. You know, stand on what you said. You said these crazy, idiotic, ridiculous things. Stand on it. It's very cowardly to go and now private all your social media or deactivate. You know, there's other people. It's not just her. There are other people on the left as well who have said just absolutely insane things about Trump that are dangerous, and they privated their social media too because they're worried about the backlash. No, stand on it. You weren't, you know, your social media wasn't privated a week ago when you said this crazy stuff. So, you know, anyway, let's move on to the next thing. So the next update is Congressman Mike Lawler and which this guy's name is Richie Torres. Two congressmen are putting aside okay, let me read this. It says that they're putting aside their partisan differences to make a bipartisan push. So basically what they're calling for is enhanced Secret Service protection for President Joe Biden, former President Donald Trump, and presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy. We plan to introduce the bipartisan legislation in the wake of the attempted assassination. Okay, I'll give my opinion on that. You know what's crazy about this whole thing? I actually don't really think that they need enhanced Secret Service protection. I just think that the Secret Service just needs to do their job effectively. I mean, you know, I don't think getting more Secret Service agents is necessarily going to be the answer because, in my opinion, they had more than enough people. I mean, if you just look at the video, there was so much security presence and cops there. I don't think that more Secret Service agents would have prevented what happened. I think there was some sort of miscommunication between the different law enforcement agencies. I don't know how the shooter was able to get up there, but somebody made a mistake somewhere. That's what I honestly think. I think they need to tighten up on their training and do a better job of communicating to make sure that stuff like this doesn't happen. How do you have that vantage point wide open like that? How was somebody even able to get up there? That would be my biggest thing. But you know, whatever, they plan to do that. I guess that's the response. The response is better than nothing. And this is where we get into kind of my overall criticism of kind of what happened. So I'm going to show you guys one video. This is the video of the Secret Service's response to the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump. And then after that, I'm going to show you what happened when former President Ronald Reagan, not Reagan, I'm sorry. It was Nixon, I think. Let me go look. It was Reagan, 1981, when former President Ronald Reagan got shot at, basically. So first, let's look at Trump, and then after that, we'll look at Reagan. Here we go.
What happened to our country? Probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Okay, so number one, already bad. If you look right there, you could clearly see Donald Trump's head is poking out as well as his hand. I don't know what type of clown world we live in, but I'm seeing a lot of people in law enforcement and just like public figures basically say the Secret Service did a great job. I'm proud of the work that they did and blah, blah, blah. I actually don't think they did a great job. I'm being critical. I respect the Secret Service and the fact that they even put their lives on the line to protect very important presidential and political figures in the United States of America. I respect the Secret Service. I want to make that clear, but that doesn't mean that they are above criticism just because what they do is very noble. What they did here was bad. They did not do a good job. Once you heard the shots go off, The Secret Service put Trump's head down, which was good, but then they allowed him to come back up. They sat there for at least 60 to 90 seconds, which should have never happened. If I were the Secret Service, I think the proper thing to do is forget what he's saying. I need to get my shoes. I want to do this. Drag him out of there. This is the former president of the United States. This is a guy who is the Republican nominee. Very well could end up becoming the president of the United States again if he gets reelected. Why are you allowing him to get his head out? His head should be down. You should drag him out of there. There should be no line of sight for the shooter or any other shooters to be able to shoot him. Had there been more than one shooter, President Trump would probably be dead. I am being honest. Let's say the one shooter got taken out, but then there's another shooter or there's several other shooters. His head coming out gives the perfect line of sight for the shooters to take aim and shoot at him again. His head should be covered. He should be down. They allowed him to come up, say, I need to get my shoes, and then he raised this fist. I understand it's a photo that a lot of people like. They think it represents toughness or whatever. They like the photo. You know, there's a lot of really, really good photos that came out of Trump doing the whole fist bump with the blood gushing from his ear or whatever. But if I'm the Secret Service, that is a failure. That photo should have never happened. He should have never been able to even be raised up. You should have forced him down. You were the Secret Service. You only get one shot at this. He could have ended up dead. Let's keep playing it. So now I'm just going to go ahead and mute it. So now if you look, his head's still kind of up. Like he's not really down. You can still kind of see him. Like he should be basically to the ground. They should be dragging him out of there and they should be moving quickly. They're moving slowly, just kind of, you know, dragging their feet, walking slow. Like it just, if you think about it, it just wasn't good. He could have been shot. He could have been killed. And you see right there, you can still see his head. I don't know if you guys saw it. You can still see his head poking out. Now, let me show you guys what happened when Ronald Reagan got shot. Look at the difference between the Secret Service and how they reacted in 1981 versus 2024. Here we go.
Back up! Get him out! Get him out! No!
You see how quickly that happened? Seconds. Obviously, I know it's a little different because the shooter shot, you know, Ronald Reagan at point blank range. Obviously, the guy who shot at Donald Trump was elevated. He was like 150 feet away or whatever. I get it. There's a slight difference here. But the Secret Service did 10 out of 10. Excellent job here. They immediately tackled the shooter, got him down. If you look at more of the video, Ronald Reagan's already gone by now. I mean, literally, in a matter of 5 to 7 seconds, the shooter is down, Ronald Reagan's gone. That's how it should be. There wasn't this 1 minute of fight with the blood gushing out and the photo ops and oh, let me get my shoes. There wasn't none of that. It was get him the hell out of there. And then you hear the Secret Service basically yelling, get him out, get him out, get him out. Like, that's a proper response. I got to be honest here. So, yeah, if you just kind of look at this footage, you know, the president's gone. They've already escorted him out of here. It's just a complete difference. And the only reason why I bring this up is because if you remember that school shooting that took place in Uvalde, Texas, I don't know what's going on, but these days you're just seeing several instances where different law enforcement agencies are just not doing the proper job that they're supposed to be trained to do when it comes to these situations. And in the Uvalde case, it led to an absolute disaster. More lives probably could have been saved had the police in Uvalde, Texas reacted the way they were supposed to. Same thing applies to the Donald Trump situation. Thank God the snipers were able to take out the shooter. But again, had there been multiple shooters, President Trump would probably be dead, and it would have been on the Secret Service because his head should have never been allowed to come up. That's just my honest criticism. Either way, this is an absolutely insane situation. I don't even know what to say. I'm lost for words. These are some scary, crazy times we live in, but I just wanted to give you guys some updates on everything going on with the Donald Trump shooter situation, and I'm sure we'll get more, and if we do, I will post about it. So anyway, that's today's video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.